Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at this idea of women's empowerment in India.
Which is very appropriate given that it's International Women's Day.
It is. It is. It's a very fitting backdrop to kind of have this deep dive into really what's happening on the ground.
And a good area for UPSC aspirants to really dig into.
Absolutely, especially for the mains exam.
Mains and even prelims. You'll need to know this stuff.
Absolutely. And to do this, we are going to be looking through the lens of The Hindu, a publication, and we're going to try to really tease out how government initiatives are directly impacting women's lives.
And these are tangible changes. We're not just talking about abstract ideas here.
Yeah. When we talk about empowerment, it's very easy to get lost in those big concepts. But what we want to try to do today is really show you how sanitation, finance, and governance are these like clear pathways to empowerment that are actually happening right now in India.
And very concretely. We're going to give you those concrete examples.
Okay, so let's just jump right into it. Let's start with something that might not immediately scream empowerment, and that is sanitation. The Swachh Abhiyan, this huge mission to construct toilets across India.
Massive scale, like 116 million toilets.
It's huge.
Yeah.
But how does this lead to empowerment?
Well, think about it this way. Think about all the time women spend having to find a safe place.
Especially after dark.
Especially after dark. The risks to their safety, just the sheer indignity of it all, having to go outside.
Yeah. The time spent, the safety issues.
Absolutely. And that's time they could be doing something else. They could be working.
Yeah.
They could be spending time with their families. They could be educating themselves.
Exactly. It's an incredible example of how infrastructure can be a powerful tool for social change.
And economic change.
And a great story to illustrate this is the Ma Tarini self-help group in Roorkela. Have you heard of them?
Yes. Inspiring work they do.
So they took this mission, this Swachh Bharat mission, and they turned it into an economic opportunity. Not only did they help build toilets, but they also started to make and sell sanitation products. They saw a need and they were like, okay, we're going to fill that, we're going to help our community, and we're going to make money at the same time.
Absolutely.
That's brilliant.
And it created income for them, and it really helped with the sustainability of this initiative.
Absolutely.
Because, you can build the toilets, but then what?
Right.
Who's going to keep them clean? Who's going to maintain them?
Who's going to supply them?
Exactly.
And speaking of infrastructure, there's also the Jeevan mission. It's hard to believe that only 17% of rural households had access to tap water before this. That is just...
It's a shocking figure, isn't it?
Really shocking.
Yeah.
And think about the implications for women. I mean, they were the ones often tasked with walking miles.
Carrying these heavy...
Such water.
Yeah, buckets.
Back breaking. It just takes away time.
It limits their opportunities in so many ways.
In every way.
To work, to get an education, to just have leisure time.
Absolutely.
And now, with this program, over 150 million households now have tap water access. That is a massive, massive change.
And think about how much time that frees up.
Huge amount.
Time for women to invest in themselves.
Exactly. Personal growth.
That involved in the economy.
Economic opportunities, absolutely.
Even just improve their overall well-being. And the impact is clear. Studies have shown a 7.4% increase in women's participation in agriculture, especially in states like Bihar and Jharkhand, where it was very, very low.
Bihar and Jharkhand, yeah.
Really low participation. So this is directly tied to having access to water.
It just removes that burden. It frees them up to actually participate.
And overall, the picture is even brighter. Between 2017 and 2023, rural female workforce participation went from 24.6% to 41.5%. Wow. So it's showing that infrastructure really is key to creating that environment.
It creates opportunities. It removes those barriers to participation.
So we've seen how sanitation and water access can really be fundamental for empowerment. But what about financial independence?
Yes, because you're not truly empowered if you don't have control over your own finances.
Right. Okay, so where do we even begin with this?
Well, I think a great place to start is the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana.
Okay, and how has that helped?
So this scheme has been incredibly successful in bringing financial inclusion to so many women. Over 300 million bank accounts have been opened under this scheme.
Wow.
And it gives women access to formal financial systems. They can save their money securely. They can get loans. They can get credit. They can participate in the economy in a way that they couldn't before.
It's revolutionary.
It is. And it's not just about having the account. It's about how it's used. The Direct Benefit Transfer System, or DBT as it's called, this is where government benefits are transferred directly into these accounts, cutting out the middleman, reducing corruption.
And empowering women?
Empowering women, absolutely. It's such a great example of how technology can be used for social good.
It's like cutting-edge technology, but used in this really impactful way.
Really impactful. It makes the entire system more transparent and more efficient.
But having a bank account is just the first step, right?
It is.
What about if a woman wants to start and run her own business?
Right. Well, that's where we see schemes like the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana come in.
The PMMY. And what does that do?
So the PMMY provides collateral-free loans to small businesses.
And a huge percentage of these loans, like 68%, have gone to women.
It's a huge number. And what it shows is that there's this recognition of the potential of women-led businesses.
Which are often ignored by, like, regular banks, right?
Absolutely. Traditional lending institutions often overlook them. But this scheme is specifically designed to support them. And it's not just one type of business. We're talking about everything from traditional crafts, textiles,
food processing, even retail.
All sorts of things.
It's fascinating. So we're creating an ecosystem of women entrepreneurs across the country. Now, what about for women who want to scale up their businesses? Like move beyond the micro level?
Well, for that, we have the Stand Up India scheme.
Okay. And tell me a little bit more about that.
This scheme is designed for larger businesses, so loans from 10 lakh to 1 crore rupees.
That's a huge amount.
It's a significant amount, and it shows that the government is serious about fostering women-led enterprises across all levels.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they've already given out so much money, like 53,609 crore rupees have been sanctioned.
Wow.
So it's not just about the money. It's about the message that it sends. It's saying, we believe in you. We believe in your potential. But even with access to finance, running a business can be very overwhelming, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's so much to learn, so much to manage.
So the Stand Up India scheme goes beyond just giving out loans.
Yes.
It also provides financial literacy programs.
Yes. Very important.
Which equip women with the skills and the knowledge to manage their finances and to really build sustainable businesses.
Yeah, to make sure they can succeed in the long run. It's about giving them the tools they need. It's a holistic approach to empowerment.
It is.
It's not just about giving them money and hoping for the best. It's about giving them the support and the resources they need to actually thrive.
And that's what's really so exciting about all these initiatives. It's like a well-rounded approach.
It is. It's really exciting to see these changes happening.
It is.
And to see the impact it's having on women's lives across India.
It's incredible. And we are going to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll be looking at something that is just as revolutionary, and that is the digital revolution.
Absolutely. We'll be right back. So we're back and ready to dive into the digital revolution and how it's playing a huge role in empowering women in India.
It really is a game changer. Think about it. Connecting women across India, even in the most remote areas, to a world of information and opportunities, that is powerful.
And it's happening. Initiatives like BharatNet and PM-WANI are bringing high-speed internet to rural India on a scale we haven't seen before.
We're talking almost 200,000 villages.
200,000 gram panchayats connected.
And get this, over 247,000 Wi-Fi hotspots. But it's not just about connectivity. It's about what this unlocks for women.
It really is. Think about it. Now women can access online banking. They can use digital payment systems. They can participate in e-commerce.
And they can do all this from their villages.
Exactly. It breaks down all these barriers, geographic barriers, and it opens up so many new avenues for them.
And have you noticed how UPI payments have become so common everywhere? They're so convenient.
They are. Especially for women entrepreneurs in rural areas. They don't have to rely on cash transactions anymore.
It makes everything so much easier.
Makes their businesses more efficient, more transparent.
Absolutely. And then we have the government e-marketplace, GEM.
GEM, a game changer. It connects women-led businesses to a national market so they can compete on a larger scale, reach a wider audience.
And it's working. Over 100,000 women-led micro and small enterprises are on GEM.
Wow.
And they've already secured contracts worth 46,615 crore rupees. That's incredible.
That is a lot of money. And it's proof that digital inclusion is really working.
It is.
Hmm.
And one of the things I love about it is it really levels the playing field.
It does. It gives women entrepreneurs the same opportunities as everyone else.
Exactly. And speaking of opportunities, there's this great story about a woman named Reena Kirar from Madhya Pradesh. She runs a self-help group called the Girja Devi Yan Kalyan Samiti.
Okay.
And they produce a range of things, from textiles to food items. And she decided to list her products on Gem. And the results were amazing. She went from selling locally to shipping her products all over India.
That's fantastic.
It is. Her story shows the power of technology and that entrepreneurial spirit that so many women have.
And not just economic empowerment, we're also seeing a shift in women's participation in governance.
Yes.
And leadership roles.
Absolutely. The 33% reservation for women in legislative bodies is a huge step forward.
It is. We're moving beyond just token representation. This is about real decision-making power.
And it means that women are actively shaping policies that affect their lives and their communities.
Absolutely. It's about time.
It really is. Women are no longer just voices in the crowd. They're at the table, making decisions about healthcare, education, everything.
And at the grassroots level as well. Did you know that nearly half of all elected representatives in Panchayati Raj institutions are women?
That's amazing.
It is. Over 1.4 million women actively involved in local governance. Think about the impact that has.
It's huge. They're making decisions about issues that affect their daily lives.
And studies have shown that when women are in leadership positions, it leads to better outcomes, especially in areas like healthcare, education, public safety.
It makes sense. When women have a say, the policies reflect the needs of everyone.
Exactly. It's about creating a more inclusive and responsive system.
So it's clear that India is making some serious progress when it comes to empowering women.
It is. There's no doubt about that. But we also need to acknowledge that there are still some challenges.
Right. Progress isn't always a straight line.
For example, access to large-scale credit. It's still a major obstacle for a lot of women entrepreneurs.
Yes, they might be able to get those microfinance loans to get started, but what happens when they need more, when they want to grow their business?
That's the problem. They need access to larger loans, and that can be difficult to get.
So how do we solve that?
Well, one thing we can do is expand the reach of microfinance institutions.
Okay.
And we need to encourage venture capitalists to invest in women-led businesses.
So basically create a more supportive environment for women entrepreneurs.
Exactly. One that recognizes their potential and gives them the capital they need to really succeed.
And we can't forget about the societal and cultural barriers that still exist.
Oh, absolutely. Even with all this progress, in some places, women still face pushback when they try to start a business or take on a leadership role.
It's like these outdated beliefs are holding them back.
It is, and we need to challenge those beliefs, create a more inclusive society.
A society where women's contributions are valued, where they're celebrated.
That's what we need.
So how do we get there?
Yeah.
How do we really address those deeply rooted societal barriers?
I think awareness campaigns are crucial. We need to highlight the success stories, show everyone that women can thrive as entrepreneurs and leaders.
Yeah, representation matters.
It does. And we need mentorship programs,
Yeah.
connecting aspiring women entrepreneurs with women who have already done it.
Mentorship is so powerful. It gives you that guidance and support you need.
And let's not forget about the digital literacy gap, especially for women in rural areas.
Right. Giving them access to technology is great, but they need the skills to actually use it.
So we need training programs focused on those digital skills, tailored to the needs of women.
So they can take full advantage of online banking, e-commerce platforms, all of that.
Exactly. It's about giving them the tools and the knowledge to succeed in this digital world.
It's about creating a truly holistic approach to empowerment.
It is addressing those financial, social, and technological barriers that women face.
And by understanding all these nuances, all the different factors involved, you'll be well prepared for any question that comes up on the UPSC.
The examiners want to see that you've done your research, that you can analyze these issues critically.
So keep learning, keep asking questions, and most importantly, keep striving to make a difference. Wow, it's been quite a deep dive.
It has.
We've looked at sanitation, financial inclusion, digital access, leadership opportunities.
And a multifaceted approach, for sure.
It is. And what's so fascinating is how all of these things are kind of tied together.
They are interconnected, they work together. You improve sanitation, that frees up time for women time that they can then spend on education or economic activities. And then financial inclusion gives them the means to actually start and grow businesses. And then digital access.
Yeah.
That opens up all these new opportunities, connects them to markets and resources that they just didn't have access to before.
It's like a chain reaction,
It is. Each initiative strengthens the others.
creating this really powerful force for change. And it's really clear that India is making a real effort to create a more equitable society. And the impact is there.
And this is exactly the kind of understanding that UPSC examiners are looking for. They want you to go beyond just memorizing facts. They want to see that you can analyze, that you understand the impact of these policies, and that you can also see the challenges that still remain.
So as you're studying all of this, think about what other approaches could work. What are we missing? How can we address the remaining challenges and speed up the progress that's already happening? Those are the kinds of questions that will not only help you on your exams, but also help you understand this issue in a much deeper way.
It's about moving beyond just recognizing problems. It's about finding solutions.
And as future policymakers, you all have the potential to shape the future of women's empowerment in India.
You do?
That's something to think about. And before we go, just a reminder that everything we talked about today came from The Hindu.
A great resource for anyone preparing for UPSC.
So keep learning, keep questioning, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.